Hey everybody, this is the digital asset investor. Do I have any Clint Eastwood fans out there? I can remember when I was growing up, my grandfather, Clint Eastwood was his favorite movie star. And this day and time, I don't feel like we have any. I feel like all the Clint Eastwoods are gone now. We don't really have that one guy the way that we did back when I was a kid. Clint Eastwood, to me, is one of the better actors of the last 30 years. But I was watching the new movie that he is in called The Mule, and I was telling my wife last night that it's kind of sad to see him so old now, because I know that he's probably getting closer to where he's not going to be around anymore, and it's kind of sad to see because he's one of the last of the major icons that's not going to be with us much longer. I have a bad feeling. Poor guy looks really rough, but it kind of made me sad to think about. I remember watching some of those westerns and when I was a kid, and the movie he was in where he would say, "Go ahead, punk, make my day," and stuff like that. And then there was the movie with the chimpanzee. I can't remember what it was called. Every which way we can, or something to that effect. But anyway, just kind of made me sad to see him looking so old. And if you haven't seen, you girls out there, if you haven't seen his son, I mean, you can kind of get a snapshot of what Clint Eastwood used to look like. These guys are on a whole different level of good looking. Should make a lot of guys out there jealous. Anyway, this is from @BobInDeepXRP, and he sent a couple of things, or one thing here about Dogecoin. I wanted to make a point about this. You know, over the last few days, Dogecoin has surged, and I've laughed about this over the last few days. But Dogecoin has surged, and then you've had a few other digital assets surging, while XRP's just kind of been sitting still. And I've mentioned to you that that's just how this works. In the short to medium term, you're going to continue to see a lot of these, what I call lesser digital assets that really don't have anything other than hype going for them. You're going to see some of those pump at different times. It's just a part of being invested in this stuff for now. In the medium to long term, you're going to see a lot of them disappear and have just been nothing more than like Beanie Babies were back in the 90s or whatever. But in the short run, you're going to have a lot of this type of thing. And what will happen in conjunction with it is shown here. This was an article about Dogecoin now listed on this. These digital asset exchanges, and you'll see this. You'll see them listing if they see any of these currencies pumping a lot, they'll start listing them. And what you'll also see is what Sergeant Obi-Wan sent me here. This is an article about how Grayscale CEOs, he's as bullish as ever on Bitcoin, and they rebalanced Grayscale, rebalanced their flagship crypto fund with increases in Bitcoin, Litecoin, BCH, decreases in XRP and ETH. Well, Bitcoin is always going to be, they're always going to be like that with Bitcoin, or at least in the short to mid run. But Litecoin and Bitcoin Cash, they're just doing that because those have been pumping lately. Once XRP starts pumping, they'll readjust and they'll up the amount of XRP, especially once it passes Ethereum. But these are the things that go on in this market when some of these digital assets are pumping. It's just a natural part of it. Okay, and then I got this from Brian Melancholy, XRP, @Mike_Honcho_11. This guy's on fire lately, and he sends me this. Ripple's X-Rapid powered coins.ph to integrate with Union Bank of the Philippines to launch crypto ATM. Listen to this. Union Bank of Philippines has announced its plans to launch cryptocurrency automated teller machines wherein users can trade the digital assets for Philippine pesos. To execute the launch, the bank will partner with X-Rapid powered e-wallet and financial services firm coins.ph. we're going to put up a Bitcoin ATM in our Ayala Avenue ARK branch. The machine is here already, and that's from chairman of the Union Bank about the deployment of the ATMs. So anyway, more and more adoption, folks, more and more adoption. And then I got this from X-Men XRP, and this is about how cryptocurrency is going to affect the legal industry. And this is a Forbes article, and there's just several little points to hit on in here. A lot of legal issues surrounding cryptocurrency are going to come up, like for instance, the security issue and things like that. The legal rights and obligations of corporate and private individuals, contractual issues, primarily focused on breach of contract, ensuring cryptocurrency fraud, cryptocurrency theft, the rise of cryptocurrency law firms, and I'm sure there's going to be tons of law firms that are cropping up out of this. Blockchain applications for attorneys. This is one thing they said. Let's see, understanding few potential applications, the legal sector. Here's some. Processing claims, processing payments, and keeping track of transactions with ledger reduces the margin for error. Just all kinds of different things. Then accepting cryptocurrencies for payments. And so they're just talking, this is just the beginnings. Well, one that I didn't see in there that I can tell you is going to be the one that affects the legal field the most is going to be real estate. Real estate closings, folks. You heard it here first. Having grown up in real estate, I can tell you the biggest nightmare in the world is closing real estate. And closing real estate involves all sorts of legal things, title searches. There are inspections involved. You've got mortgage brokers. You've got attorneys. You got all sorts of people involved in that process, whether it's real estate agents or appraisers or inspectors and all this thing, something that is ready-made for the blockchain, simplifying and making it a much smoother process that happens faster. It's the closing process. You watch. That's gonna be the one that affects attorneys more than anything. So their lobby better get to work is all I gotta say. Okay, next from Crypto View at Brando Aguilera. He sent me, well, I thought he sent me he did send me a photo, but I can't go into it. Let me see if he's got it on his feed here. He sent me a photo where he went and he met Bob Way. He met Bob Way and he met CKJ Crypto News. He met those guys, and I don't want to pull it up while I'm doing this video, because if I do, I might accidentally show something I don't want to show. So I'll show his picture later on. Apologies to Brando Aguilera for that. But there was a picture of him and Bob Way and CKJ that I was going to show you. Then from Ripple, they tweeted this today. Ripple's XRapid is honored in Fast Company's 2019 World-Changing Ideas Awards for helping improve reliability and lower cost remittances in the developing world. How huge is that, folks? Fast Company. Okay, and next from Bond Crypt, Ripple to double their staff strength in Singapore. This is against the backdrop of an increased rate of adoption by its customers from Asia, including the likes of CIMB Bank, Instarim, and Money Match. I'm not going to go into the article. I think he said it pretty well there. And then, this is interesting, folks. Fed will adopt helicopter money in the next couple of years, says economist. And I believe this was someone out of David Rosenberg out of Canada, a wealth management firm's chief economist. And he says, I personally think the Fed, no, that was from Trump. I personally think the Fed should drop rates. They've really slowed us down, Trump told reporters. There's no inflation in terms of quantitative tightening. It should be quantitative easing. Now, let me tell you what, folks. This is back to, regardless of whether you are where you are in the political sphere. I was back when all the bailouts happened in the financial crisis. I was so against all of that, and I think George Bush was the one that got all that going. Then Obama continued it, and now Donald Trump is wanting to continue the madness even more. And so I am so against all of this. But the lesson there is that it doesn't matter which politician is in office. They all want to take the easy way economically out. The truth of the matter is, if any of these guys ever did the responsible thing, they would stop all this crazy printing money and QE this and QE that. They would stop all of that, and they would get the Fed out of capitalism altogether if they really wanted to do the right thing. But none of them are going to do the hard thing. All they want is to have the economy have the appearance of being good when they're going into an election cycle, and it's the same thing on and on and on. So look at what this economist says. It says, as Macro Voices Eric Townsend talked about the Fed's ability to fight back another downturn, he says, what I kind of see on the horizon is I think that if they try to propose another round of QE that looks like the last several, I think the political left is going to say, no way. There's going to be a huge revolt. And people are going to say, look, if you're going to create money out of thin air, it needs to be helicopter money. Give it to the people, not Wall Street. Well, the digital asset investor has a different take, folks. It was wrong what they did before in giving it to Wall Street, and it would be wrong to do it again and give it to the people on Main Street, because economically it makes absolutely no sense. Money printing is the death of your currency. You start hitting the print button, I don't care who you're giving it to, you're devaluing what you're giving out, period. And so it doesn't need to be done at all. But all they're going to do this time around is when they start hitting the print button, they're going to hand some to Main Street, and then it's going to be an even bigger problem, because then they're going to addict the people getting handouts of money. Then you're really going to see your dollars be devalued. Even if you're getting some of those dollars, you do not want that. Then it says, in response to this, Rosenberg said, the ensuing quantitative easing and incursions by the Bernanke Fed were all aimed at promoting a stronger stock market. But not only do we have record income equality, but this created a situation of also record wealth inequality, with no evident impacts that it had any significant multiplier impacts on overall economic growth. When push comes to shove, you look at what's called the shadow Fed funds rate, and you can see on the St. Louis Fed website, de facto, with the balance sheet effect, the funds rate actually went to minus 5% in this cycle. People don't realize how aggressive the Fed got. And the Fed prints that money and then hands it over to the Treasury to do with it what you would like, and you don't have to change the tax system. I mean, this is craziness, folks. I can tell you right now, what he said here, I disagree with also. Not only do we have record income inequality, but this created a situation of also record wealth inequality. Well, here's where I disagree with this. The Wall Street guys, they think right now that they have become wealthy as a result of all of the money printing and all. But they're wealthy on paper, they're wealthy in dollars. You take that money out of dollars, the dollar itself is being devalued whether they know it or not. This is nothing but paper. This is like playing Monopoly. I would much rather have my money in digital assets where they aren't creating any more of it than have it stuck in whatever these guys are in. But this is a huge nightmare that's been created over the last 10 years. A huge nightmare. And when the S hits the fan on this, you just sit back and wait and enjoy being in your digital assets, because all those clowns that created this mess, they're going to be right there with you, and you're going to be wealthy if you invested in them. All right, this was from Gold Telegraph. Let's talk fiat inflation. If you'd bought $1 million worth of Venezuela's currency, Bolivar, in 2013, it'd now be worth $3.40. Folks, let that sink in. And then look at this from Ian Northing at LANBINS. Exactly. This is a tweet from Eric Connor. Cryptocurrency is a scam, and I believe that what you're looking at is the Venezuelan money on the ground there. Folks, these central banks have perpetuated the biggest financial scam in the history of the world, and it's been done on a worldwide basis. It's not just Venezuela, it's not just the United States, it's not just Turkey. It always has been something that would eventually fall on its face. The only thing that has propped it up is them being able to convince the world that they should be confident in those systems. Ask the people in Venezuela if they're confident in their system right now. This is not going to happen to the digital asset investor because I don't believe in what this central bank creation is. It's a monster that is just waiting to destroy people's savings. And I'm not going to be a part of that. This is not something I'm going to be a part of. I believe in XRP. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe and hit the like button and tell your friends and family that it's not cryptocurrency that is the scam. It's fiat. Thank you for listening.